Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into this really powerful idea. What if the smallest changes, the ones you barely even notice, could lead to the most incredible results in your life? Well, let's find out how.
Come on. We've all been there, right? You get super motivated, you set this huge goal, you go all in, and then what? A few weeks later, bam, you're right back at square one. It's so frustrating. But here's a thought. What if the problem isn't you? What if it's not your motivation at all, but the method you're using?
Yeah, the truth is, progress just isn't a straight line. We want to see results like now. But what really happens is you hit this valley of disappointment. It's where you're putting in all the work, but you're just not seeing the payoff yet. The source material has a great name for it, the plateau of latent potential. Think about it like this. You've got an ice cube, right? The room warms up from 25 degrees to 26 to 31 and nothing. The ice cube is still an ice cube. But then at 32 degrees, whoosh, it starts to melt. All of that effort wasn't wasted. It was just being stored up for the breakthrough. So how do you get to that breakthrough moment? Well, it's not about some massive heroic effort. The solution is actually something that sounds almost ridiculously small. It's just this: aiming to get 1% better every single day. And this is where the magic really happens. It's all about compounding. Like compound interest in your bank account? Your habits do the exact same thing. Those little 1% improvements, they build on each other. And suddenly, after a year, you are literally 37 times better. But, and this is a big but, the reverse is also true. Tiny, bad decisions also compound, and they can drag you down to nearly zero. It really makes you realize that time can be your best friend or your worst enemy. I love this analogy from the source material. It really reframes everything. Imagine a plane taking off from LA, headed for New York City, okay? Now, what if the pilot just adjusts the course by a tiny, tiny amount, just 3.5 degrees south? At takeoff, you wouldn't even notice. But by the end of the trip, that plane's not landing in New York. It's landing in Washington, D.C., a completely different city from a barely noticeable change. And that's exactly what your daily habits are doing. They're setting your trajectory for life.
Okay, so before we jump into all the practical tips and tricks, we have to talk about a really crucial shift in mindset. Because real, lasting change, it's not about changing what you do. It's about changing who you are.
So think of it like this. There are 3 layers to change. On the outside, you have outcomes. That's the what, like losing weight. Then you have processes. That's the how, your workout routine. But the core, the deepest level, is your identity. That's the who. And most of us get it backwards. We start with the outcome, but the most powerful change starts from the inside out. The goal isn't just to read a book. It's to become a reader. It's not to run a marathon. It's to become a runner. See the difference? And this is what it all comes down to. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the person you want to become. So your habits aren't just things you do. They're how you embody a new identity. Every time you hit the gym, you're casting a vote that says, I'm an athlete. Every time you sit down and write, you're voting for, I'm a writer. You are literally building your identity one tiny action at a time. Okay, so if habits are what shape our identity, the big question is, how do we actually build the right ones? Well, this is where it gets super practical. The source material lays out a simple but brilliant framework. 4 laws that let us engineer our own behavior. So first, you gotta understand the engine that runs everything. It's called the habit loop, and it's a 4-step pattern. It goes like this: cue, craving, response, reward. A cue triggers your brain, that creates a craving, which pushes you to a response, that's the habit. And finally, you get a reward, which tells your brain, hey, let's do that again. This little loop, it's the backbone of basically every single thing we do. And this is how we hack that loop. The 4 laws of behavior change line up perfectly with those 4 steps. So to build a good habit, you need to make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the response easy, and make the reward satisfying. Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. Simple, right? Let's dive in. All right, law number 1, make it obvious. And this starts with something you have total control over, your environment. The idea here is that instead of just relying on willpower, which we all know fails, you become the architect of your own world.
And here's the big secret. So-called disciplined people, they don't have more willpower than you or me. They're just smarter about setting up their lives. They spend less time in tempting situations, so they don't need to use heroic willpower in the first place. It's about designing a life where the right choice is the easy choice.
This was proven perfectly in a study at a hospital. So in the cafeteria, researchers wanted people to drink more water. They didn't put up posters, they didn't give a lecture, they did something way simpler. They just added bottles of water to all the soda fridges. That's it. And what happened? Soda sales plummeted by over 11%, and water sales shot up by almost 26%, all from just making the better choice more obvious. So you can do this in your own life, right? It's super simple. You want to practice guitar more? Don't hide it in the closet. Leave it right in the middle of your living room. Want to eat healthier? Put a big bowl of fruit on the counter instead of cookies. Want to read before bed? Literally put a book on your pillow so you can't miss it. The whole idea is to make the cues for your good habits totally obvious, and to make the cues for your bad habits invisible. Okay, on to the third law, which is maybe the most important one. Make it easy. Look, we are all wired to take the path of least resistance. The more work a habit takes, the less likely we are to do it. So how do we make new habits easier? One of the best strategies is something called habit stacking. And the formula for it is so simple. It's just, after my current habit, I will do my new habit. You're basically piggybacking the new habit onto something you already do automatically, so you don't even have to think about it. And another huge part of making it easy is the 2-minute rule. Whatever your new habit is, scale it down so it takes less than 2 minutes to do. So read before bed becomes read 1 page. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's just to master the art of showing up. And you can see how powerful this is with these examples. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Or after I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes. You're linking them together. And see that last one? After I brush my teeth, I will floss 1 tooth. That's the 2-minute rule in action. Now that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the fourth law. Make it satisfying. Your brain needs an immediate reward to want to do something again. Finishing that 1 minute of meditation or flossing that 1 tooth, it gives you a little hit of success. That feeling is the reward that tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do it again tomorrow. Okay, so let's bring it all home. As we wrap this up, let's go back to the single biggest idea that powers this whole entire system. And this is it. This is the whole thing right here. Small habits don't just add up, they compound. You're not just looking for one single 1% improvement, you're looking for hundreds, thousands of them. It's that relentless, day after day accumulation of tiny gains that builds incredible systems and, eventually, leads to unbelievable results. So, I'll leave you with this one simple but really powerful question. Don't worry about trying to change your whole life tomorrow. Just forget all that. Instead, just ask yourself, what is your first 1% improvement? What's one tiny thing you can do today?